Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is your brother, your friend, Toure Muhammad, your digital content strategist and publicist, coming to you with another episode of Black Business Matters, episode number 7. And in this episode, we feature an amazing young lady. She's an author, an entrepreneur, she's a publicist. She is a business owner, and we're going to talk to her about her PR company. We're going to talk to her about what she does, her author, her book, her two-part book series where she helps recalibrate your mind towards entrepreneurism. And we're going to talk to her about how she's handling and how she's helping clients handle this pandemic that we face with COVID-19. So grab you a cup of coffee or something to drink and get ready to enjoy another episode of Black Business Matters.
Sean Michelle's Homemade Ice Cream is the only place to go when the ladies crave delicious old-fashioned homemade ice cream. Their vanilla tastes just like Grandma used to make it. With over 35 flavors, all made with the freshest ingredients, Kathy has never had banana pudding ice cream this good. It's homemade ice cream the way you remember, and Sean Michelle's doesn't upset your stomach. Enjoy in-store or take it to go. Sean Michelle's. Fall in love again.
First-time customers, buy one, get one free.
First of all, let me tell you, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. I've been able to see how you shape and move and how you really create opportunities for your clients. And so to be able to talk with somebody that I think, I started in nonprofit communications, journalism, was doing not corporate, but government. I was a communications director for a senior member of Congress. So when I talk to folks like you, I feel like, it's my people. You my people, right? Understand marketing and PR and branding and how important it is. And I know you have some background and experience in crisis management. Yeah. So before we get into it, I just want to make sure that our audience has an idea of who you are. Anytime I see somebody that talks about 15 plus years in corporate America and then is able to go out and build their own business, I know the struggle and what it takes to do that. So talk a little bit about who you are, Sister Ebony.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for having me on. I've been watching you in your grind for years now. So I was really honored when you sent over the interview request, and I'm very grateful to be here today. So as you said, I'm Ebony Porter-Ike. I am the president and CEO of the EPI Media Group. I am also the founder and visionary for Coinology, which is a business enlightenment methodology. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then I also am the founder of the EPI conference, and that is a conference that is held every year. I worked in corporate, as you mentioned, for over 15 years, learned a lot. And during that time of working in corporate, I was able to gain some skills that I saw that over in the entertainment world and non-corporate world that were lacking. And so, I basically said to myself one day, do I want to continue making the rich richer? Or do I want to help people who look like me be able to live out and walk out their dreams, goals, and desires? And that is what birthed EPI Media Group. And so I feel as if right now I'm not only walking out and living out my passion, my purpose, but I also believe that it's a ministry for me as well.
And I know you have to be busy right now because now probably more so than ever with this pandemic that we're facing, you probably have clients that are worried, they're concerned, they're trying to figure out what to do next. So, how important it is for businesses to be able to understand how their PR, their marketing, their branding can be affected by something that is outside their control.
Yeah, we are quite busy, as a matter of fact. We are still planning for what it will look like after the pandemic. We're also helping our clients pivot, to shift. The reality of it is, if you are not thinking about new ways to run your business and to generate income, you will not survive in this new world that we're going into. You can't, the way that we lived a month ago is gone, and it's gone forever. So during this time is the time that we need to be shifting, reevaluating, pivoting, and looking for opportunities, because there are a lot of opportunities out there. One of my, I think one of my statements, my signature statements that I've been saying a lot since this quarantine has happened is solve a problem and become a millionaire. So I was talking to some of my girlfriends and my mom about this. You know, a month and a half ago, you would talk to people and they would be, oh, my Chanel bag, my Gucci bag, my diamonds, my this, my Range Rover. None of that matters today. People care more about, can I get a $15 mask? That's what people are desiring. So I'm looking online and I'm seeing all of these people who have the skill set to make masks, and they are all backlogged with orders coming out the wazoo. And that's a prime example now of solve a problem and become a millionaire. If no other time, this is a time where innovation and entrepreneurship could really birth some major, economic changes in your life. Definitely.
Man, that's a fact. And you have a book out, right? You have a 2-book part series, but you have like a whole program where you're kind of helping people. I understand the idea and the principles that successful business owners have, but a lot of times folks have to navigate their own stuff in their mind to carry out those things. And it sounds like you're helping people deal with that mental part that'll help them become successful.
Yeah. If you think about some of the greats, Dr. Miles Monroe, Napoleon Hill, and on and on and on, most of the things that they talk about is your mindset. And I always talk about, you cannot get to that next level unless your mindset changes. For instance, I could not, with being in corporate for over 15 years, if my mindset had not shifted, I don't care how long I was in corporate, I was not going to be successful as an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur thinks differently than an employee. Your mindset has to shift. And so what you believe and understanding your value, because when you work for a company, your value is based on the value of the company, the name of the company. So you can call somebody and doors can open up for you because you say, I work for so-and-so, I'm vice president of so-and-so. But when you don't have that crutch, having that value in yourself you have to know that your value and be able to stand on your value regardless, right? And so what Coinology does, it is a full international business methodology where I teach people how to be successful in business by monetizing their profit, monetizing their purpose. But in order to do that, you have to truly understand your worth, and you have to be able to dig deep and be comfortable in your purpose. See, each one of us was born on this earth for a specific reason. And my reason is different from yours and everyone else's. But most of us feel the need to replicate other people that we've seen be successful versus finding our own truth and our own path. And Coinology is helping people do that. And in order to do that, you can't separate sociology from economics. And so when you think about it in B school, though, when you go to B school, they are 2 separate courses. You have your economics and you have your sociology courses, right? But the reality of it is if a person that is running that business, if their mindset isn't right, if they haven't gotten over some of the hurdles, some of the parameters that they've placed in their mind that could have been placed there because of childhood trauma or because of past defeats or fears or so forth, if they don't get past that, the mindset won't shift to allow them to be successful in the business world. So that's what Coinology is all about. It's going to be a 12-book series. So there will be 12 books in the overall curriculum. We've completed 2. And now I'm working on the third one, which is going to be Chronology Volume 3, The Rise of the Phoenix. And the first one is Authentically You. The second one was Intentionally Winning. And you know, what's strange is that The Rise of the Phoenix was placed in my spirit 2 years ago, but the content wasn't ready. Now that we're actually going through this quarantine, The Rise of the Phoenix is all about coming through the ashes, rebirthing, reliving, coming through and being able to still thrive and survive in the middle of a catastrophe. And that's what the third book is going to be about. It's going to help people reevaluate, realign. And so that is what the third book is all about. And so I'm actually living and walking through the steps as we currently speak.
Wow, that's excellent. So my next question is, how are you handling the quarantine? But you're breaking it down. You're actually going through a process to help other people in this moment, huh?
Yeah, but it's still rough. You know, the quarantine, you know, there's a lot of people who say quarantine and chill, or you can quarantine and build. However, at the same token, there needs to be a happy medium. Because what's happening to us as a humanity is devastating. You know, I just lost my cousin last night to COVID-19. I just lost my brother December 26th, the day after Christmas. So the day after, so Christmas and Easter will never be the same for me. And so the reality is I still have to heal. And so if you don't take the time to do that, it's going to be catastrophic. And that's one of my biggest fears. I was just talking to someone prior to joining this interview, and I was saying, America, well, the world is going to need mental alignment after this. You're going to find so many people that are going to need help coping. Not only with the new world, not only with the loss of things, you know, material things, but the loss of loved ones that they haven't been able to adequately say goodbye to. You know, and to think that we can just pick up and go back to the way things were is a fallacy. Those days are gone, and we have to be able to rebuild ourselves as business owners in a new way. And we have to be swift with it. That's one of the things we talk about in Intentionally Winning, is when you hit a downturn, you can't stay there. You got to mourn, you got to grieve, but you got to get up. So that's important. That's going to be the difference between those who come out of this and those who don't survive what we're going through right now.
Wow, amazing. And definitely, obviously, it's painful to hear that. I send you my condolences. You know, definitely pray for you and your family. And you're right, it's hitting a lot of us. There have been some reports talking about how it's been a lot of predominantly, you know, Black Americans that are being hit. You know, and that leads to some other conversations about overall health, because they do talk about it. There, you know, the pre-existing issues that, you know, may lead to it. So I'm praying for some people right now that are being hit with it hard in my immediate circle. So talk a little bit about what do you think it will be? If you can give some projections, some of your thoughts based upon what you're seeing now, what is it going to be like after COVID-19 for businesses, and how they're going to have to engage and interact with their clients? Some that may, you know, there have been some reports talking about there may not be any major public events until the fall of 2021. You know, and I know it. So what does that mean for you, for Epic Conference? You know, how people going to start navigating this?
I would say that, you know, people have been talking for years about making sure your company is virtual. virtual solutions. How do you still reach the people? We're finding new ways to be able to still communicate and still be able to get the message out virtually. And so companies are going to be forced. Now, you got some companies who have a business model that just can't be done virtually. For instance, let's talk about the nightclub industry, right? Or restaurants. Technically speaking, people can order food at a restaurant and do a pickup and go or whatever, or Uber Eats. But the reality is, restaurant owners want you to come in because you spend more money when you come in. The longer you sit there and talk and you order more drinks, you order more appetizers and so forth. So you want people to be able to come in and congregate. So, but I think what's going to happen is that people are going to have to be really creative and coming up with solutions that do not require a lot of contact. And that means that, virtual conferences, master classes online, smaller settings, more intimate details. We're going to have to navigate in a society that does not allow for that in order to survive. I think moving forward, though, I think what companies have to do is they're going to have to engage technology and social media to its height. You will be surprised how many clients I have that come to me, and when they initially come to me, they all express their desire or how much they despise social media. I don't want to do social media. I don't want to do Instagram Live. I don't want to do Facebook Live. But guess what? Before it was an option, and I would tell them, okay, well, you're leaving money on the table by not doing it, right? But if they're already grossing millions of dollars anyway, they're like, okay, yeah, I hear you. But now it's going to become a necessity to have those avenues in place. You're going to have to find other ways. And what I will tell people, for the most, for years we've been telling people, don't rely solely on social media to be your form of communication with your customer base, that you need to own your distribution list, own your communication. We've been saying that for years, right? We've also been warning people for years about making sure to have disposable, foods and blah, blah, blah. And we've all kind of laughed at it, and that's sci-fi stuff. But we're here now, right? You don't want to have all of your communication sources to be owned by someone else. So this is the time now for businesses to be collecting their distribution lists, trying to understand who their customer base is, trying to get their information. So if your only source of communicating with your clients has been through Instagram and Facebook, you need to find a way now to be able to download that data. Because when Instagram and Facebook determine that your only way of being able to operate as a business is through them, it will no longer be free.
That's right.
It's a business model. It will no longer be free. So you need to make sure that you are protecting yourself. Don't wait. Most of us, we tend to wait until the shoe drops on us, and then we scream unfair, foul, when in all actuality, the writing was on the wall for some time, and we didn't heed to it.
Yep, that's right. I have a couple of clients that I've been talking to, and they were talking about their frustration with having to do some boosting or to do some paid ads on social media. And I'm like, bro, you've been promoting for free for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You've been able to do this for no charge for 5 years. Now they're putting them, it's minimal right now, but like you're saying, it could increase. And where they forcing you to reach more people, because you're not reaching everybody you used to reach, because they changed the metrics so that you can pay for it.
That's right.
But the analytics and everything that you get in exchange for it, it's worth it. But like you're saying, do it now and at least get to some groove and get that base ready now before the price is astronomical to advertise on there. Right now, it's still very affordable. you know, as I'm listening to you, I hear passion, I hear commitment, I hear, and you talked a little bit earlier about you want to help more people that look like you make more money. What drove you? What's your why? Why is it so important for you to be that entrepreneur, that publicist, that author, that speaker? And as I'm listening to you, I know you probably share information with people even when they're not paying for it, because you want them to be successful in business. I hear it in you. And probably every time you speak, you're giving the game up. What's your drive? What drives you? What's your why?
You know, I did it for a very long time for people who didn't believe in the same values that I believed in, and were not feeding my people. And I just woke up, and it was as if when you have that euphoric experience of being face to face with God and him telling you what your mission and your purpose is here, there's no other, nothing that can stop you at that point. And so that's what I felt. I feel like I'm walking out my God-given purpose. And I feel that until that is complete, you know, I'm going to continue to walk that out until God tells me not to. I think the other thing that drives me is when I go to conferences and I'm at events and I speak, and I come down off the stage and I'm meeting with people, and I'm meeting with people that are 40 and 50 and 60 years old, that are breaking down in tears when they come talk to me, because their question is, I'm 60 years old and I don't know why I'm here. I'm still trying to figure out my purpose. That is something that will keep you going, because you realize that there are people in pain. There are people who are confused. Nobody was placed on this earth just to live and die. We all have a purpose. And so can you imagine how many people are on their deathbed and they wonder why?
Woo.
You know? And so that in itself, if I can just help in that area, that is something that just drives me. And for some reason, I just think ever since I was a little girl, I just have always had this passion to help other people. Even when it came down to, I remember my brother and I, we were young, and my mom and them would get new technology like the VCR. It was always Ebony to fix everything. It was always, as I got older, the family, when they wanted to buy a business, everybody always called me to help them make those decisions. And so I just think that it's always been bestowed on me to help. And so now I've been able to make that, again, like we talk about Coinology, I've been able to monetize that and make that my brand. And so that's just where it went to. But I feel like the driving passion for me is that I know that this is what God has placed me on this earth to do.
Man, that's powerful. Solve a problem, become a millionaire.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I know you have 2 powerful books out.
Yep.
Outside of your books, what's a good business book that really has helped you along the way?
One, I would definitely tell you, Think and Grow Rich. Then there's Becoming Better. I would say another book that has been instrumental for me. Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you, when I was in undergrad, I actually had a minor in religious studies. And so I studied a lot of the different quote unquote spiritual books. And so when people talk about The Secret and the magic and all that has always been in our spiritual books, whether it's the Bible, Quran, whatever. And so I also study the teachings of many of our different religious quote unquote prophets. Of course, teachings of Jesus Christ, but I also study, Muhammad. I also study Gandhi. I study, some of the teachings of Buddha. It's all about becoming centered, right? And that is, really it. Because if you read, I'm gonna tell you something. What you're gonna find in all of these books, for people who are extremely successful, they all follow the same principles, because the universe operates off of laws, period. And I can't create a law and you can create it. No, the universe has already created those laws. So either I'm going to play along with the universe, or I'm going to be left out of my promises. And so once we realize that we can't, how it works, that's when the doors of opportunities begin to open up for us.
Man, that's heavy right there. I love that. I think I would agree with you 100% on that. And if you probably if we could go back in time and bring everybody with us, and you got Muhammad and Jesus and Buddha, and got them all together, they would be, man, expressing how much they appreciate each other for following those universal laws and being in the same spirit. It says we get it mixed up, but man, those are definitely some good ones and some important ones. And I think that it's hard for some people to understand how important the spirit and spirituality is to business. But every successful person I've talked to, with, like you're saying, whether they focus on Jesus, whether it's Muhammad, whether it's divine creation, whatever term they use, there's always that higher part in those universal principles.
Yeah, to your point, what you'll find is that you have to believe in something. Okay,
that's right.
So you'll find that a lot of times we'll meet very successful business owners that may be quote unquote what we call atheists, for instance, right, or agnostic, but they believe in something. They may not believe in what you consider right or wrong, but in order for you to practice the laws of success and the laws of this universe, you have to believe in something. Even if that is believing in the universe, whatever it is, but you have to. The people that you will find that are most lost in this world are those who believe in nothing. Because if you believe in nothing, you operate and you don't operate in the fashion of what the laws require. So that's the thing. We as humans have done a good job of villainizing different belief systems. Oh, you don't believe in what I believe in, so you're wrong. Versus trying to find out what similarities do we have together. How can we love more? How can we respect more? How can we build more? And so that's just human nature. No matter what. I'll tell you this. I tell people will always find a way to divide themselves. Even if we found ways to divide ourselves from age. You found ways to divide yourself of religious beliefs. Then it could be gender. If it's not gender, it's sexuality. If it's not sexuality, it's I shop here, you shop there. Mom, people find a way to divide themselves. And you have to be cognizant of that and not allow that to be a distraction.
Yeah, I love it. And to your point, it seems like the people who are most successful find a way to rise above that and always see the commonality. And then they can really touch people and talk to people in a way that, shows that they are sincere about solving whatever problem the person has. Yeah. Like you said earlier, and that produces opportunity. Man, I love this conversation. I appreciate what you've been able to share with us. How can people get in touch with you to get your book? So you have 2 books, right, that they can get now, right?
Yes.
How can they get those books?
They can purchase the books. The book is everywhere books are sold. So you can go to Amazon.com or Books A Million Borders, but you can also go straight to our website, which is coinology.biz, and that's spelled coin, like COIN, ology, OLOGY.biz. You can go there and also purchase the books as well. You can buy, volume 1 or volume 2 together in a gift pack.
Beautiful. And of course, if people want to learn more about your PR company, you have a website there as well. Uh-oh, you froze up on me. I don't know if you can still see me or hear me, but you are froze. So what we're going to do is end it here. And then
It's not a party until a Sean Michelle's cobbler is served. Our peach, apple, and blueberry cobblers are homemade with only the freshest, most delicious ingredients. The cobblers are grandmother approved, and with just one taste, you'll be doing your own happy dance. But wait, there's more. Pair it with our homemade ice cream for the perfect a la mode. Call Sean Michelle's to order yours today. Sean Michelle's homemade cobblers. Fall in love again.
the Black Business Matters show is produced by Bean Soup Times.